Science, exercise, nutrition, health, energy, passion. 1 year, no beer. This is the 1 year no beer podcast, where you will find all the latest tips, tricks, and hacks for a way to live better.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the 1 year no beer podcast. My name is Rory Fairbairns.
And I am Andy Ramosh.
Thank you so much for coming back and joining us for another week of audio. And I've been looking, at least recently, at the listener volumes, and they are, I'm not going to say doubling because that would be lying, but they are dramatically increasing, which is really awesome to see. So clearly people are sharing the message, enjoying it. People are talking about it in the groups. So thank you for all your positive feedback about the podcast. So I thought it would really be interesting. This week, we've got a very, very interesting guest. If you're a member of 1 Year No Beer, then no doubt you will know who this person is. And you probably know all about her as well, because Sally has been very, very engaged in the community with us. And if you are not a member and you don't know, then Sally Wilkinson is not only just one of our members, but she's also, you know, an inspirer in her own right. She runs her own page, Get Over Yourself, Get Fitter, and, you know, she's focusing more and more on that herself now. And really, as you'll find out in this podcast episode, the tipping point for her success was removing alcohol. And I think that will be for you too, listening out there as well, if you haven't already.
Yeah, and Sally's just one of those characters, isn't she? She's really natural on camera. Everyone's fallen in love with her journey. I think that decision probably on day one to take a video of herself and explain her reasons why she started out on this adventure. And then it just sort of snowballed. There was just more and more videos, and we all felt that we got to know Sally. For example, my wife would continually say to me, "Have you seen what Sally's up to today?" This became this like household name. We adopted this new friend into our family called Sally Wilkinson, just because she's really entertaining. And just seeing her journey, I think, was really inspirational for so many of our members who are in a similar position, you know, and to see someone who clearly was that larger than life type of character anyway, had used alcohol to, I think, enhance that persona, then to remove it, and then, you know, all the difficulties. I think that the best description is that personality change, let's say, that shift. And a bit like Rory, I think, discovered that underneath it all, she was exactly the same gregarious, outgoing, fun, sociable person without the alcohol. And I think that was a real big revelation for Sally along the way, that she could still have this really vibrant social life and just skip the booze bit and all the negative consequences that come with that. And I think that was really powerful to watch.
She's an inspirer, and Sally loves to talk, so you'll see that, and that's why we'll keep this introduction nice and short, so you can hear more from Sally and less from us every week. So, without further ado, into the interview with Sally Wilkinson. The one and only Sally Wilkinson. Sally Wilkinson, mother of three. Mother of three? Aren't you mother of more than that? Because you've also got your page and Vogue.
I'm a mother of about 12,000, I think.
Yeah, mother of about 12,000. Mother of three babies of your own, and then another 11,500. Fitness instructor, juice and fitness retreat owner. I love it. Former rugby player and a lifelong Ironman. Yes? Is it Iron Lady? Sally is a recovering depressive bankrupt who used alcohol as a crutch to numb and create fake happiness, and is now living and loving life alcohol-free. Wow, what an intro. Sally, thanks for joining us.
Rory, you have just written the back page of my book. That I've not even started yet.
Awesome. Yeah, I'd love to write that into your book. How many words is it going to be? Like 200,000?
Book is going to be very succinct. It's going to be made up of Facebook posts and my wonderful, straight to the point advice. In other words, it's just going to call Get Over Yourself, have a word, and crack on.
Crack on. Right, a little bit of if you're listening right now and you're not on our YouTube channel, check out YouTube channel and see how absolutely stunning the amazing Sally Wilkinson is. And so Sally's been a member. You've been a member now of 1 Year No Beer for, is it longer than your 366 days or 366?
Only about 3 weeks longer.
Yeah.
I had a little peruse just after Boxing Day last year, and I thought, sod that.
That is not for me.
Well, I didn't. I stayed on it, but I didn't make myself known at all until I was committing. So, I stayed just lurking for a bit, and I liked it.
So Sally has been, such an engaged member. If you're not in the groups, in the Facebook group, Sally is in there all the time, inspiring people and just being so honest. And these posts about the down days and the troubled days, and then really investing so much time in supporting other people and helping others and encouraging others. And you are one amazing superhero that's come through. And of course, you run your own product. So before we get into all that, I just wanted to give a bit of backstory. Some of us have heard it, but let's hear the full story. Let's hear Sally Wilkinson and a bit of the backstory and tell us how you came to One Year No Beer.
I came to One Year No Beer because I was a Prosecco pie-loving pisshead, really, but a socially acceptable one, because a lot of my friends are the same, and I was moving around in circles that it was wine o'clock and it was all that, and we were just been going. I'd thought about worrying that I'd got an issue with alcohol, I think. Well, not an issue, but just that it was controlling me, and I thought I really need to cut down, probably for about 18 months, 2 years before I even found One Year No Beer. Little things, you've got an issue when you just can't go more than 2 days without it, and in the daytime, the thought of having it at 5 o'clock at night makes you feel better. And going up to the Spa shop, and because I never used to keep it in, I'd go and buy a bottle of Prosecco, and I wouldn't just buy one, because I thought, well, if one's not enough, I then can't drive to get another, so I'd buy two just to be on the safe side, and I'd feel that inner shame immediately. I probably had that for a good year or two. It became worse. We'd been going through some huge financial issues. A side little job, a part-time job, was a property developer, and we'd got about 11, 12 properties that were doing really well, and then we just bought a big one in Morecambe, and the recession hit, and the bank withdrew all the funding without notice and left us high and dry. And it was horrific, and we'd managed to get a couple of private investors. One turned out to be the minion of an Irish gangster. Yeah. You just couldn't write it, honestly, and the fear that all created. And we were fighting bankruptcy, couldn't get any other investors, just managing to pay the banks back. And it creates issues in the relationships, and our whole life just became about money and worry and losing the house and this gangster that was after us. And I just drank and drank then, and it literally got to 4 o'clock every night. And I managed on a Monday normally, and I used to hear myself saying, God, I've done really well this week. I've not had a drink since the weekend. And that'd be on a Tuesday, I'd say that. And I start to think, shit, I think, bloody hell, it's getting really where I'm so needy of this. And it was physically an escape. I mean, don't get me wrong, I've always enjoyed a drink with friends. I've always been a bit of a binge drinker, I suppose, probably from even when I did my rugby playing days. But I never drank wine then, I just drank pints of cider. I was a classy bird. And I often used to get man of the match, so I got very adept at necking a pint of cider stood on top of a chair. 6.4 seconds was my quickest.
Wow.
But then I thought I upgraded myself when I retired from rugby when I was 40, because the recovery was just becoming a nightmare. I went on to wine, and unfortunately it sort of gravitated into pints of wine. Yeah, I'd go out and stop button like you hear a lot of people saying, and I don't mind that so much on the weekend. I could have coped with that, but it was that solitary drinking I was doing at home on my own. And I was needing it, and literally I'd that feeling when you take the top off and the noise, and you get your glass out and you pour it in, you hear it, and I could feel the relief coming.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, and I know that's all in my head, obviously, because that physical action is nothing at all. That is all in my mind. But I just wanted it, and it was at that moment when you take your first few sips, I used to forget all the crap. Any emails that I needed to do, anything that I needed to do for work, I just wouldn't bother with. It'd just be fine. I'd have a happy night that night then. It wouldn't really, it'd be a shite night, but it started off happy. Yeah. Simon would often go to bed and I'd stay up because I just didn't want the next day to come. Yeah. We were worrying about all the house stuff, and I just was doing it more and more, and I fell into a really deep depression. And for anybody who's had depression, it's just horrific, really. You just stop functioning. I was spending 50% of my life in bed. I wasn't getting up in the morning. I'd literally swim my legs out of bed at 7:30 to tie Nancy's hair up as she went off for the school bus. Crap mother feeling. And then I'd just go back to sleep till 10, 11 o'clock, and I'd just lie there. And then I'd start drinking again at 6 o'clock. And I'd be a normal functioning human being then, and then I'd repeat it all again the next day. And I remember dreading bank holiday weekends where I think, oh my God, I've got to drink now every weekend. It became where I really hated it, that I couldn't stop myself. That the depression was just getting so bad. And I thought, I have to take action. I didn't want to go on antidepressants. I did that about 10 years ago and it just didn't work for me. But I know enough about fitness, and I wasn't doing any fitness. I was just doing shit spinning classes, teaching them, but not very well. It was getting to the stage where I couldn't even smile at people, you know, to go in. I was sick of trying to motivate people and I couldn't even motivate myself out of bed. Never mind to get somebody going, come on. I just wanted to go, oh, get stuff, whatever. You know, it was just so difficult. And I remember lying in bed one morning thinking, right, I've had enough of my own crap. But really the thing I should have done was question my drinking. But that was the last thing I was going to give up. But I felt I couldn't imagine, not from a, you know, like a typical alcoholic sort of way. I didn't feel I was in that category at all. I think this is why 1 Year No Beer has been so successful for me, that there was nothing for people like me. You know, it was that you were either at Alcoholics Anonymous or you were just a binge drinker or drink like I did. There was nothing in between. So I was laid in bed and I'd put on 2 stone. I mean, I'm still a lot heavier than what I normally am. I'd put on 2.5 stone actually, drinking too much, comfort eating, running these juice and fitness retreats, feeling like the biggest fraud, you know, and I was motivating others. People had come for the weekends, they'd go away buzzing because of what I've said. And I used to listen to myself in the talks, thinking, what a bloody knobhead, Sally, why don't you just listen to your own stuff? You know, I used to make no secret of the fact how much I used to drink, even though I was a health and fitness person, and that's what my business was. And on Get Over Yourself, Get Fit on my page, the amount of challenges I've done on there and I've been half cut, you know, on the way to a night out, I'd be doing a plant challenge. I remember on my birthday, I'd got about 15 bottles of Prosecco. I mean, what does that tell you when you get that much wine for your birthday? But people used to love it. They used to say, oh God, you're dead real, you know, I love the fact that you still have a drink. I remember saying on the retreat once in one of the talks, I say, never say never. I always say that. I might be a raw food vegan one day, I might be teetotal. And one lady said, if you ever do that, Sally, I will stop coming to your retreats because you give me permission to drink. And that's sort of, I really did think about that aspect of it before I joined 1 Year No Beer and before I committed to the world that I was doing this.
Such a big thing, isn't it?
Yeah, it was massive for me, Rory. I very nearly never did it because I was worried that I'd lose this ridiculous persona that I'd built up of myself. You know, this health and fitness person running juice retreats but likes to get pissed. And on a Sunday after the retreat, when people used to go home, you know, they come from London and all sorts, they could have an 8-hour journey to Kent. I'd go home, I wouldn't do any of my work, I'd literally unpack, get the Prosecco out because it'd been a full-on weekend, get in the bath, take a picture of myself having the Prosecco and put it on the page going, safe journey home, everybody. And that's what I did. And I didn't do anything in the evenings, I'd just drink. And I'm going back to when I had a depression, being in bed, I decided to do an Ironman. How do you do? I've never done a triathlon before, never even done a sprint. But I needed something because I couldn't give up drink because that was what was keeping me going. So I thought, right, I need to get back into my fitness. And I needed something that was almost physically impossible. And just for the few people who don't know what an Ironman is, it's a 2.5-mile swim, followed by a 112-mile bike ride, followed by a frigging full marathon at 26.2 miles. And a great book as George Mahood, Operation Ironman. If anybody needs motivating for any form of sport, honestly, what an amazing book. And I've always believed that you lot here, if you're watching, can do anything if you put your mind to it. If you want it enough, I've always believed you can have it, providing you're injured, you know, and I've always believed that. So I don't want a life of that'll do. I've done it before when I was a lot heavier and I lost weight and I thought that'll do. I don't want to go out with clothes on and thinking, oh, that'll do. I want to go out fancying myself, feeling absolutely brilliant. And I really do believe that feeling is there for everybody, but we get ourselves into such a state, whether it's through drink, emotional eating, work stress, whatever it is. But I do believe we can control it. And it's just when you feel you can't, and sometimes you need a helping hand. My helping hand depression was my Ironman, and I did that all by myself. and I'm actually classed as a did not finish. I was officially last. It's 17 hours the cut-off for Ironman, and I was 17 hours 12 minutes. But there was 450 people behind me who didn't finish. And the lady at the end, I wasn't supposed to get a medal or anything. The man on the mic had gone home, and that's why when Andy said on the post yesterday, "Sally, I've got maracas out. You are a 365 legend," I started crying because I wanted that on the Ironman, but the bloody dickhead of a bloke had gone home. He'd got sick of waiting. I just trotted over the line like this, and this lady, volunteer, came up to me and put a medal over me. And she just said, "You deserve every inch of that medal." And she goes, "And this is why I volunteer." And it meant the world, you know, little things, little random acts of kindness that you needn't do just can mean so much. Something a friend told me, she'd mentioned 1 year no beer. She goes, "Come and join 1 year no beer. We're doing 90 days. Not a chance. I want to, Mel, I said. I'm not interested. Am I? No. She goes, "Well, just look at it." She goes, "They seem a really good group of people." And this was the Facebook page. And I went on the next day and had a look, and I thought, "Oh, should I do it?" And I like a challenge. You know, I do like a challenge. And I thought, well, it's not going to do any harm. And it was that. It's like what I used to say about motivating myself about my body. I don't want to get to my grave never having experienced how bloody good I can feel. I think joining 1 year no beer just made a huge difference, and that was it. There was one time I was at Manchester Airport, and this was one of those moments that sticks in my head. I was at Manchester Airport, I'd had a few wines in the free lounge, and then I was getting on the plane. I thought, I don't know if there's a trolley service on the plane. If it is, you're waiting 2 hours. And you know when you get the taste for it and you just need to keep having a drink? I can't believe I'm admitting this. And I thought, right, come on, Sally. And I just, you know, and it was getting bad. I thought, I need another one. I can't not have any available to me. There's no Spar shop on the plane. I thought, right. So I went to Boots and got myself a meal deal with an apple ties. And I hate apple ties. So then I went to duty free. Am I really admitting this? Live on my And I went to the toilet, and I sat there, got rid of the apple ties, and I put the wine in the apple ties bottle, and I drank it on the plane. And that's the only stealth drinking I've done. And I think that's why I feel quite passionately that's not for me during my challenge. I'm out and proud as not drinking. But that I have done that sort of stealth drinking for the wrong reasons. And it was just, I remember vividly sat on that toilet cubicle in the airport going, "What are you doing? What are you doing, woman? This isn't right." And this was probably a year before I met you lot. So all these little things kept happening. All the business, all I had was Get Over Yourself, Get Fit on a free page, and I do free challenges on there. I did the plank challenge for you lot last year. And so every few months, I'll just do a challenge like that. And that's all I did. I was making no money from the business at all. I didn't know how to do on Facebook. I was just working for free, getting on it, and which I'm happy to do because I love doing it. Joining that 1 year no beer, something must have stuck. And I thought, right, some people can just flick the switch like that and start the next day or start that night. That's not me. I have to sort of get it out in the system. So this must have been the beginning, first week in January. The 17th of January was my son's 18th birthday party. So I thought, right, I'll earmark that and I'll get shit-faced there, you know, dance on the coffee tables with all the 18-year-olds, which I'd do anyway. I thought, right, when am I going to start? There was no date. And I thought, so I had a few more nights of drinking, going up to the spa, getting 2 bottles of wine, hating myself. I needed to hate myself enough. Yeah. I don't know if that makes sense.
Get to that point where, Tony Robbins talks about that's that point of absolute pain where you can't take it anymore, and you're like, that's it. And that's the point where you now move towards pleasure because you're like, I've had enough of this. I must change. The pain has got too great.
It absolutely. And I remember coming on and listening to a few, and I think it was Michael Gonzalez, is it? I don't know how to say his name. And there was a picture of him having lost loads of weight. And I think this is why I've especially come up to my 365. I've been doing a lot more videos again because I know how helpful I found them as a new starter. Seeing people down the line, it was just mad. And so I didn't sign up, and I thought, well, I'll just hang around this Facebook group for a bit. And I started my own challenge, thought, right, and eventually I started, and I took that god-awful video that I've posted about 4 times on the page, and I really remember that vividly. That was I say 12 o'clock on the video, but I actually stayed up for another 2 hours drinking. Sam had long gone to bed, and the feeling of self-loathing, of powerlessness, but I knew I was going to stop. And I knew I would never restart again. You know, there's no right or wrong. I'm not having to go at the people who restart for the 17th time. You know, I'm not being disrespectful to that. I just knew that wouldn't be me, because I'd thought long and hard about it beforehand. So I knew I wouldn't restart. I didn't know how long I was going to do.
Progress had changed for you. It started way before.
Way before I met 1 Year No Beer.
Especially with people who are frustrated by partners who are not at the same level of them straight away. You know, they're 10 days into their challenge, they're feeling better, and they're like, my husband is still drinking as much as he always was, and it's really annoying me. And it's like, your process of change started a long time ago. Yeah. The seed was sown, you were starting an expression of doubt. You know, it takes a while for people to come around to it.
It absolutely does. And I've been quite lucky in that respect. I'd done about 20 odd days, and you came onto the free group and mentioned the paid group. And I thought, well, it's all right here. What do I want to do that for? And then common sense struck, and the word you said, come on, do the 90-day challenge. I thought, 90-day challenge makes the Ironman look easy. Come on. And
exactly.
That day I paid my money and signed up, and that was the turning point for me. Absolute game changer, because I was no longer pissing in the wind. I was no longer fanning about. I was no longer take it a day at a time. That might work for some people, but I needed an absolute goal. Yeah. And signing up to those 90 days, no, the emails didn't match, but I read them anyway, you know, because they still really helped. And I did my own 90 days, and oh my God, the difference I started to feel. And I don't want to put anybody down who's doing a week. You know, if you've done a week alcohol-free, if you were like me, that's fantastic. If you've done 30 days, if you've done 90. But I believe passionately in the 12 months, because it is that where you get your learning.
So as you came to the 90 days, I mean, I remember your videos. Clearly, as you're coming to 90 days, you're like, oh, I'm thinking about carrying on, and I really don't know where this thought has come from, and I don't know what to do with this thought, and please help me. And so, I mean, that is really what everything in 1 Year No Beer is about, isn't it? You know, it's called 1 Year No Beer for a reason, because we want to encourage people to carry on. So tell me about how you felt leading up to the 90. Tell me how you made the decision, and go from there.
I felt, because I had no idea that I was going to do more than 90. I'd have been pleased with that, obviously, because 2.5 years ago, when I was depressed, I did the whole 30 and I gave up for a month. And the whole 30 is a great eating, it's a book, you know, so it might not suit everybody, but it worked for me. And I gave up alcohol. I remember Andy doing a video about a similar attitude. And what it was, is you had to then reintroduce foods. First thing I introduced on 31 was Prosecco, because I was, you know, you can slow plans, you do it with a different mindset. I've never really given up or stopped drinking with this attitude that 1 Year No Beer tell you to have. I'd never done that before.
What we're doing is we're teaching people to be alcohol free as opposed to giving up.
And it was, and you think I should know, because that's the same attitude I have towards diet and fitness. Yeah. So I think, how can I not have even put it to alcohol? But I hadn't. So that was the biggest thing with 1 Year No Beer. And when the one mistake I made, and this is, I think I said last week on one of my videos, the 90 days, I must have spent the last 40 of them worrying about what I was going to do at day 90, because I know a lot of people will remember, they said yesterday that it was the Italian balcony gate with the free champagne in the room. It was a Simon and I's silver wedding on day 92. But on day 90, we were in Italy on Lake Como, and there was free champagne in the room. And I could have drunk it. And I can't get my head around it. And I thought, I don't want it, but I would like it.
Yeah.
And I can have it now if I want, but I'm not having it. Yeah. What the frig is going on?
This is I know and love.
And I thought, there's nobody going to tell me off or say, well done, Sally, you've done your challenge. And we went to this amazing restaurant in the hotel that Robert De Niro goes to. And it was just amazing. And we drank fizzy water. And I thought, well, that's it. If we're not going to drink on our silver wedding, what other event? So when it came to it, I remember doing the video, and I just said, I'm going to do 365. And again, it was that feeling I felt when I said to you when I signed up to the 90, it was the same feeling. And this is why it's so important, because all that brain fog, all that white noise just disappears because you know you're going to do it. But then what really made me emotional was Simon was on my shoulder building his part up how he can do. And he went, well, I'm going to do it as well. And we hadn't discussed whether he was going to do it. And that was a massive thing for me, that he's accidentally alcohol free. Yeah. Once I'd done that video, I did have a tantrum. I ate shit that holiday. I must have eaten my body weight in gelato. And there was, you know, when you get that vexed, I could have run round Como Square with my breasts hanging out and I wouldn't have cared. Felt so... It was weird. It was a weird feeling to think, what am I doing, committing to 365? But that little boy says it's the right thing.
Excitedly committing to 365.
Was, but in a strange sort of way. Yeah. In a sort of belligerent, I'm going to do it come what may sort of way. And I think what I learned from the 90 days was not to do that approach in the 365. And also another little tip I can give, I do say it in the group, but one book that I read, I mean, I love Annie Grace, Naked Mind, I love all those, but the one thing that made the final decision to me, I read it while I was in Italy, literally when I was on day 80 something, was Rebecca Weller, The Happier Hour. And it was just all about, she's probably a female version of you and Andy were, you know, she was in the city, and which I never have been obviously, but the same mindset. Yeah. And I thought, I don't want to be like she was. I don't want to go back to that Prosecco loving pisshead that had fake happiness, that'll do. That'll put off emails, that'll pick arguments with Simon at night for no reason, just because he's wearing his glasses on the wrong, you know.
Absolutely, well said. And so tell us a bit about what changed for you over the year, and tell us what, you know, your business now is absolutely thriving. Tell everyone what's happening there.
Yeah, well, like I say, my Facebook page was busy, you know, it's not big in terms of, you know, other big wigs, but, you know, there was about 7,000 people on it, and I just do free challenges, done in a professional manner, of course, and I just do like plank challenges and all sorts. And when I stopped drinking, I knew I wanted to progress my business, and I knew I needed to start making money out of all the hours I was spending on it. And so I came to London a few times and did a couple of courses with Shah Wasmund, and I've got myself a business coach up here she's amazing. I had a massive following compared to everybody else. And Shah couldn't believe it. She says, and you're not making money? I went, no. She goes, why on earth not? And I remember I just teared up again. How I do? I said, because I've just been crap. And it's all because of drinking. I've been crap. Because drink has been holding me back without a shadow of a doubt. And now I'm not doing that. Yes, I have shit days. Yes, I feel crap. Yeah. But since then, I've set up a closed free group called Motivate to Make Change. And people just come into that, and it's still free. And it's a lot of work keeping it going. But I've done 3 accountability groups since then. And that's where it's just a closed group with 100 ladies in, a couple of men. And they all pay like 79 quid it is for the month. And literally they just get a video from me every day. It should only be 10 minutes, but it's always half an hour. They get a hit video every day. And it's just all about accountability. I believe so passionately that there is not one diet plan to suit everybody. So don't ever come to me if you want a diet plan. Never say never, but you won't get one. What I like to do is get into people's heads and give them the desire for themselves to make a change. You know, and that could be, I know this sounds daft, but I give them an all accountability sheet with just 4 things on that I want them to do. And then the rest, they've got to put their own things. It could be reading for half an hour every day. It could be flossing your teeth every day, body brushing, you know, doing 10,000 steps, whatever you want, doing your meditation, doing your 30 burpees. They pick their own, and they simply colour them in red if they haven't done it and green if they have. And I advocate not to go for all green, because that's not life. And it's just how people start to treat the awareness of the habits. Yeah. And I've made it up. I'm quite with it, really. It's just a shitty little sheet that people have put on the computer, which I haven't done, you know, and the changes that people are having, and that's what I love doing. I love to inspire people. I do so, and that's my first money-making project. But my big thing is I'm starting an online membership group. and it'll just have my spinning classes on, it'll have my Nordic walk, and have lots of fitness videos, and it'll have me bollocking on.
So I was thinking, for all those, Sally Wilkinson fans out there, of which there are many Sally Wilkinson fans, what we could do is we could go back to all the videos you've got in the group and then put them together into one long video that if ever you're feeling down, you want to Netflix binge for like 3 months, right? You could be in bed for 3 months watching back-to-back Sally Wilkinson supporting.
Well, do you know, it's funny you should say that. It wasn't 1 Year No Beer person, it was before join 1 Year No Beer. Somebody messaged me, they put on my group, they said, oh my God, one way to pass the time, I would locked myself out the house, waited 2.5 hours for the locksmith, binge watching your videos, the best, most motivational 2.5 hours I've had.
That's awesome.
Rory, I had no intention when I joined 1 Year No Beer, doing a video every day. I remember being really embarrassed in the beginning, but I thought I was that desperate to change. I thought I'm just going to have to do it. And people said, oh, I like these. And so I carried on doing them. I remember being in country lanes, crying with snot hanging out my nose, being miserable. I remember telling the paid group, I told a lot more people in the paid group, the community in there, I mean, it's lovely on the free group, but the paid group, it's just another level. Give yourself that gift of 12 months, please. I cannot stress it enough. And don't fanny around looking for all of the books and this, and do books and do all that, but just get involved in the group. That's all you need. It's all you need is to be involved in that group and just admit that you're going to have shit days, you're going to have good days. But one thing, it all depends on the individual. It's really hard when somebody's been a smug get in a nice way because they're up here, they're buzzing, and you're feeling utter shit down here on a bad day. But you've got to remember that your summer will come. Yeah. And it'll come 1 week, then you'll be back down. So, but the trouble is with some people, they just can't quite imagine being up here. So it's a mirror holders, they feel crap and then they might leave. Yeah. So if you're that person who's feeling rubbish, just be inspired by the people who are doing well, because it doesn't always happen. They'll be back down here a week on Tuesday. I tell you that for nothing.
It is a roller coaster journey. But like I heard somebody say recently, there are no straight lines in nature. The only straight lines are what man creates. The reality is that all things are wavy, and that's how our process of learning is, and our process of change, bounce. Some people are more aggressive than others. My process of learning is very dramatic, bouncing off all walls before getting there. So Sally, before we wind up, any final tips for people who are starting at this journey or thinking about going for the year, or anything you want to add in?
Absolutely, stop thinking about it. If you've not signed up, I mean, I'm not on commission at all, am I? I'm seriously not. But look, I would not have, if I'd not signed up, I wouldn't have done it. I genuinely mean that, I wouldn't have done. Because you feel, it's also to say thanks for doing it. I know it's a business, but you don't have to do it. It's to say thank you, but it was the monetary value for me. I was worth it. I was worth that 6 quid, whatever it was. And I can't remember what it was, and the monthly fee we used to do, I can't remember. But I remember I'd have paid it, and I did pay it because I felt I was worth it. Fitness, you do need to start your fitness, and I believe passionately in that. I know I've not really mentioned it on this thing because I just assume everybody does it, but fitness got me out of my depression. I know I'm not asking you to go and do an Ironman, just do something, get inspired. You need that desire to keep fit. Walking
for fitness, where can they get inspired by you for fitness?
I tell you, and do you know what, for those people who, I mean, I love the Spartans, I love all the Tough Mudders and that, but that for a lot of people is too much. Get out walking. Walk. How many steps are you going to do this month? Nordic walk on your hands, walk off, whatever it needs to be. Set yourself a little goal, get out into the fresh air, walk, do your HIIT session, do whatever it takes, but you're going to get me on one. I won't be long, Rory. But if you want to be fit and strong, you can lose all the weight you want. You can stop drinking. That's not going to give you a strong core. That is not going to get you up off the floor when you're 78. You need to be fit and strong. The only way you're going to do that is start doing fitness, some sort of strength training, some sort of cardio, do your meditation, do your yoga. And don't tell me you haven't got time, because that's a whole nother goddamn video. Don't tell me you haven't got time to read a book to inspire yourself. You get up earlier. That's what you do. But that's why when you're with 1 year no beer, if I was on my own, I wouldn't have done this. Yeah. Who would I have spoken to when the waiter fed me gin in September? Who would I have spoken to when I was sat in the fields crying because I was worried about the gangsters were going to come and burn our house down? You know, I can't say it on my own pages. Your family gets sick of hearing it because they don't want to stop drinking. So they're not really interested. They're proud of me now, but in the journey side of it, they're not that interested. But 1 year no beer, totally understand. And it's priceless. I tell you, it should be 10 times the price, Rory.
That's another debate. Sally, I forgot to ask you, because of course yesterday was your 365. What an woo! You know, amazing. So much support for you in the community.
Oh, it was overwhelming.
How did you feel for the 365? What's your choice going forward? Tell everyone that.
Well, I'm really, really pleased that I didn't waste the last 2 months worrying about yesterday. When somebody asked, I'm not thinking about it, so I don't know what I'm going to do. This time next week, I could be watching the Six Nations with 4 cans of Strongbow, but I could, because I've done the challenge, and it's really weird to know the fact that I can. I know I could have done 6 months ago, but I was doing the challenge, I didn't want to fail it, but I'm out of the challenge now. But little things are giving me clues. Went to a spa day yesterday, got to about 1 o'clock, and there's ladies walking around in the dressing gowns with the Prosecco. Do you know what? I hadn't even thought of doing that. No, I was just having water from the water machine. And usually, we've been to spas before at Centre Parks, where you go around a 2-hour spa in 20 minutes just to get shit-faced in the cafe in your dressing gown at the end of it. So there was none of that. We really made the most of the spa. And actually, 2 women came in the sauna with the Prosecco because it was too cold outside. So all the staff said we could do it. I wasn't happy. I thought, I don't want you drinking Prosecco in the sauna when I'm on a spa day, but I didn't say anything. I thought, just be impeccable with your words, Sally. One of the 4 agreements. And so I never said anything. And then also on Friday, unfortunately, it's our friend's funeral. She was 47. An old school friend. She lives in the village and she died suddenly a couple of weeks ago. And I was very aware that I'm out of my 365. And oh my God, I would never go to something like that and stay sober. Simon always drove. But the only times I miss it, when I miss it the most, it isn't the drink, it's the expectation, the anticipation. But it's short-lived. And it's not the wine I miss, it's the anticipation. So I feel now, Rory, I've done stage 1 the year. I've eaten shitloads of sugar, so my body isn't where I want it to be. And so now I'm seeing it's stage 2. At the moment, I don't think I'm going to be sort of drinking. Yeah. Why would I? Why would I give all this up? But if I really want one, I still probably won't have one. Yeah. It's bizarre.
Well, and really fantastic change. And, you know, it's amazing. So if anyone doesn't know Sally, so where do we find you? What's your page called?
It's Get Over Yourself, Get Fitter. I'll send you the link if you want, because it's...
We'll add all the links in. But for anyone listening, if they want to go and find out more from Sally, get inspired with your fitness, take some of your free challenges. The Facebook page is Get Over Yourself, Get Fitter. You've also got your membership, which is much more accountable.
My website was hacked last year, so I'm working on my website, so I don't have one yet. I don't even have a business card. It's all, you know, this is how it is. But I'm working on all that. But yeah, I'll send you the link for the all you need to do is Get Over Yourself, Get Fitter. It's a free group. I do challenges.
So go and check out Sally. She's amazing. Sally, thank you so much for your time coming on this podcast. And feel free to jump onto YouTube to watch it. Sally, we'll see you inside the groups. Love you loads. Congratulations on your 365.
Thank you. Like I said, from the bottom of my alcohol-free heart, sincerely, honestly, fate. Well, it's not fate. It was just luck. All right.
So inspiring to hear not just another influencer, if you like, story, but also somebody who's one of our members who's transformed their life by taking this challenge. Now, if you haven't yet come and join us on a challenge, come and join us on a challenge. You know, it is a life-changing experience. It will be for you. If you are already alcohol-free, feel free to jump into our Facebook group, 1 Year No Beer. And don't forget to like and love us on social media. On Instagram, 1 Year No Beer. On Facebook, 1 Year No Beer. And Twitter, OYNB UK. Loads of good stuff out there to support you on your alcohol-free journey. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll catch you next week. Bye!
Thanks for listening to the 1 Year No Beer podcast. For a full list of episodes and to join in the challenge yourself, head on over to oneyearnobeer.com. oneyearnobeer.com.